Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, and these days it's directly from my basement. Our rundown today is going out to the fine folks of New York City who are going through some crazy times right now, and to all of the healthcare workers and essential workers and the frontline people that are trying to take care of citizens out there. It's heart-wrenching to hear the stories that are coming out of the city. It's one of the hardest hit in the world right now. It also happens to be one of my favorite cities on earth. It's an amazing place, and I can't wait to get back. And I'm thinking about you, New York. Let's get started with your rundown. It looks like summer is going to be brutal for movie theaters. Sony Pictures has pushed back all of their big summer blockbusters. First up, the new Ghostbusters movie has been delayed almost an entire year from its original release date this July to March 5th, 2021.
Hey, remember that one summer we died under a table?
Next up, the Marvel vampire movie Morbius, starring former Joker Jared Leto, has been pushed back to around the same time, March 19th, 2021, from its original date this July. It would be nice if blood from bats turned you into a superhero instead of, creating a virus that causes a global pandemic.
The remedy is worse than the disease.
Finally, the Tom Hanks World War II movie Greyhound is being put in dry dock until further notice. It was set to sail this June, but has been given a to-be-determined date, so if we had to guess, it will probably land around Oscar season.
It's not enough. Not nearly enough.
Sony isn't just delaying these movies because of theater closures. Although they're all finished filming, they presumably still have a lot of post-production and special effects work to complete, and most post-production houses have closed shop until further notice. Other big films like Wonder Woman, Black Widow, and Mulan have already been pushed back, although none of them are pushed back as far as next year.
Here they come.
I think that the reason why Sony is doing this is threefold. It's to complete the movies and get all of the work done for them. I think a lot of special effects houses have been closed, but I think there's a lot of work that's being done from home. Still, that will slow down production for sure, but also I think it's a question that there's not going to be, like, all the theaters are going to be open throughout the summer. I think there's probably going to be some staggered openings that are starting to happen in different parts of the world. And the other thing that I hadn't really considered until we reported on this story is the fact that, yes, a lot of these movies are delayed for us to watch, but also there are massive amounts of delays happening in production all over the world right now. Basically nothing is shooting. And so all of these movies that were in the pipeline to be released in 2021 will also have to be pushed back because their work won't be complete. So next year, because we're getting the absence of scheduling this year, they're going to have to slot in a lot of films that aren't making it into theaters for 2020 into 2021. It's almost as if this virus has come in and wiped out a big chunk of this year. It's like we have hit the pause button on planet Earth, and we get to pick up on a lot of this stuff in 2021.
It has a gunner seat?
You might have to wait for new movies, but you won't have to wait for new comics from at least one big publisher. DC has announced that they'll continue releasing their new and upcoming comics digitally, despite the fact that they won't be selling new print editions for the time being. It was unclear until now if they would halt digital sales as a way to prevent comic shops from losing revenue once they're open, but in a statement, DC Director of Marketing Adam Phillips says all their data shows that digital and print consumers are two different audiences, so one doesn't really impact the other. Rival publishers Image Comics, Dark Horse, and Oni Press clearly disagree because they are pausing digital sales, while DC's arch nemesis Marvel has yet to announce what they plan to do. Yeah, I'm of two minds of this. I think that now more than ever, the comic retailers really need support, and they're not open, so we can't support them by going to their stores and buying action figures and comic books. And so the best way to get behind these retailers is to do exactly what some of these publishers are doing and pausing on releasing these books altogether. I don't fault DC, though, if they've got a bunch of books in the pipeline and people at home wanting to read some stuff. They're wanting to kind of placate an established market that's out there. I understand that. But it feels like they're playing with fire, like they're sort of biting the hand that has fed them for a long time. And this trajectory could come back and slap DC Comics in the face. But I understand all sides of this. This is a really kind of weird time for the world, yes, but also for the comic industry. The move toward digital and to getting information at our fingertips as opposed to having to walk into retailers had been affecting a lot of people before all of this, but now it's all just been accelerated. So I kind of wish that DC, because it's such a massive brand, had stood shoulder to shoulder with the other guys, same with Marvel, and just been proactive about saying, look, we've got to support our comic retailers. That should have been the message, I really feel. I guess, I can understand DC's position, but I'm certainly of the mind of, like, let's support these people that not only sell you things, but create a sense of community. My daughter and I love going to the comic store. It's just a fantastic place to go and to be inspired and to have your imagination just get sparked, Stuff like this is definitely going to hurt comic retailers even more right now. Things are pretty crazy on Earth right now, so thankfully Switch owners will soon be able to escape to the outer worlds. Obsidian Entertainment has announced that the Switch version of last year's action RPG will land on June 5th. It was originally set to arrive earlier this month, but was pushed back after one of the developers working on the port tested positive for COVID-19, forcing them to close their doors and quarantine. Thankfully, they care more about their staff than the evil corporations in the game.
Not averse to risking your life if the pay were right?
The Switch version will be available both digitally and on a cartridge, although cartridge players will need to download an additional 6 gigabytes of data in order to get everything that couldn't fit. I am very excited to check out the Switch version of this game. I loved The Outer Worlds last year. It's absolutely in the vein of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls type experience. It feels, like a sliver of that kind of concept and idea. And of course, Obsidian worked on Fallout New Vegas, so they had the pedigree to build us something elaborate and huge, and it's an awesome game. It wasn't the best looking video game of 2019 by any stretch. There was certainly a dated type of quality to it. I think the best thing that you could say about it is that it wasn't too ambitious so that it sort of broke or it sort of creaked because it was trying to do something that it wasn't capable of as a video game, which we've seen in some games like Fallout 4. So consequently, it was just a very satisfying experience. Now, what's going to be interesting is to see how all of the content and the visuals and the audio fidelity of the game hold up on Nintendo Switch. I think it's going to do quite well. And it's going to be a very cool platform to play a game that's as expansive and immersive and replayable as The Outer Worlds is. I'm looking forward to this one very much. Break out your paddles because the iconic video game Pong is coming back. Atari has announced a new version of the iconic game called Pong Quest, which reinvents the classic ping pong gameplay with RPG mechanics. Players will control an anthropomorphic pong paddle and go on a quest through different levels where you'll earn points that unlock new gear and abilities, all while taking on greater and greater foes. There's also a multiplayer mode that supports up to 3 players. Atari will launch Pong Quest on the PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One later this year. It will also be coming to their own new console, the Atari VCS, which is slated to land in stores before the end of the year. Do you know why Pong was made? Do you know why Nolan Bushnell, the guy that founded Atari, do you know why he said we need to make a game that everybody can play? Well, he also commercialized an old computer game called Computer Space. That was the very first arcade machine. And that was too complicated. It was like an old, looked like asteroids a little bit, but it was too complicated for people that were coming from pinball and fairground arcade experiences, and then they got in front of this computer monitor and tried to fly a spaceship. It was a massive failure. Nobody could understand it. So he decided he wanted to make a game that you could play with one hand while you could drink a beer with the other hand, and that was Pong. And Pong was a massive success in bars all over the world.
Yeah. And then the first game that you would put out commercially?
It was Computer Space, which was very much more complex than Pong. All my friends liked it, but all my friends were engineers. That product almost had too much innovation in it.
Right, it was ahead of its time.
No, really. I mean, the fiberglass case, all that sort of stuff. And so, in some ways, the second one, I dumbed it way down. Anybody with one hand could play it and hold a beer in the other.
And now we have progressed in the video game industry that, we've gone back to Pong, and we're turning Pong into an RPG. The world is insane. And honestly, I can't wait to play this game, and I hope it's fun. If you need something to play right now, the Call of Duty franchise has brought back one of its best games for another tour of duty. After weeks of rumors, Activision has officially launched the remastered version of 2009's Modern Warfare 2. It's available today as a timed exclusive on the PS4, with the Xbox One getting it at a later date. And like the remastered version of the first Modern Warfare, it offers 4K resolution and HDR support. Keep in mind that this is just the single-player campaign, so you won't get any multiplayer. However, buyers will get exclusive skins and weapon blueprints to use in another Call of Duty game, the multiplayer-only Warzone. Cool stuff for Call of Duty fans out there. It's nice that they've got a free-to-play, and then they've got their... I think this is the future of Call of Duty, quite frankly. They're going to do free-to-play forever, but they're going to find new ways to engage people through the microtransactions and that free-to-play multiplayer experience, and then they will offer single-player campaigns, maybe at reduced prices, and then you'll get lots of bonus loot and stuff from those campaigns that you can play in the free-to-play world. Warzone could be the biggest Call of Duty experience ever for years if people keep signing up and people are spending lots and lots of time and kind of parse out new modes and maps forever and ever, and, you know, upgrades to the visual qualities and stuff like they've been doing with the other Battle Royale games out there. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for our rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode for you. In the meantime, we've got lots of reviews and features and interviews, lots of cool things for you to check out, so please do. And if you dig our channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. Please share our content wherever you'd like to. Thank you for buying the swag, the merchandise out there, the t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and stuff that we have. We really appreciate all the EPN love that we get. We'll see you soon, and until then, play forever.